Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good Sunday. A little rainy outside, but not too bad. Before we get started, if you could remember to let your little cellular devices meditate while the service is going on, that would be good. And if you can, please rise and we will sing a spirited version of Spirit-Led, Spirit-Fed, led by our very own Kara Rezeki.
Band that now has a name. Woohoo! The new name is Bright Matter. Or is it Bright Matter or Bright Matters?
Bright Matter.
Bright Matter. Isn't that fabulous? Let's give them a round of applause. Woohoo! All right, you may be seated. Thank you for being here. Good to see your faces. And hello to those of you who are joining us on the live stream, YouTube, or Facebook. Good to have you here. If you would just say hi, put a little hi in the chat, then we know you're here. We get a conversation going. And so, to my left is the wonderful Oswaldo Mora, future minister team member. He is our service leader for today. And while he lights the divine light candle, I invite you to say our opening invocation together, which is on the sheet in the seat back in front of you, that little buff sheet. So take a moment and find that, and take a moment and just connect with your heart. Breathe into that heart space. And together we say, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. So let's just breathe that in for a moment. Allow that awareness of our oneness with the infinite, with each other, that one divine life that is within everything, within us. It is a power and a presence of love. And we align ourselves with it and open our hearts and allow it to radiate out from us. So it is.
I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender.
As we keep that state of surrendering, I invite you to close your eyes. I surrender. And I trust. Today, I trust. I sustain myself. Divine love. And I trust that today, take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale, experiencing your divine presence. That's what we are. Divine presence. And we trust that presence. I want you to repeat to yourself, I trust this presence. I trust this presence. I trust this presence. Stay in that state. Knowing and feeling that you trust. I recognize my divine presence as I recognize divine presence in others, those that I love, those that are always with me, and I share today my trust with them. Bring them to your mind. Create a huge community with the people that you love, with the people that you trust. Inhale, exhale. Knowing that you are sustained as the other is. We are all divine, experiencing oneness. Inhale, exhale. and bring yourself to this place. Today, your trust has been renewed. Today, you can feel your presence in love and trust. Because that's what we are. Inhale, exhale. You can open your eyes. We're going to hold the prayers with Joanne.
So we took this time to dive into our hearts and find the prayers we hold sacred there. Just let that capacity of faith expand, that capacity for connection and community expand, to hold the prayers of those present in this room, joining with us in this service, those who have placed their prayers here within our sacred trust, those common prayers for peace and harmony in our lives, harmony in our community and world, well-being for our body, mind, and spirit, and for our beloved earth. And those individual prayers that are owned by us. And we call forward the strength and the faith and the understanding needed to walk the steps of our own journey to bring these prayers into fulfillment. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Joanne. Take a deep, deep breath. Prayer, meditation are very important pieces of our life. And as is also our vision and mission. Please, I invite you to hold the paper that holds this vision. And when we are ready. Everybody's ready for the vision? Yes. Perfect. So, our vision. We envision the divine light awakening in all. Our mission. We center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey toward wholeness. And we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is.
Started with the music. I meant to make an announcement. Oops, sorry. I just wanted to say that we have a special guest today from UNC, a photojournalist student in the back, Callie, and she's taking photographs of our service, and she'll also be photographing the full moon fire ceremony tonight. So if you're uncomfortable being photographed, raise your hand, let us know, and maybe you could sit in the back, but everybody's good with that? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So now we can, please, turn and see everybody's faces that is walking with you in trust and love. You see, we are here together in this journey. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Are you?
Nope.
Save me from this prison. Oh Lord, help me get away. 'Cause only you can save me now from this misery. I've been lost in my own place, and I'm getting weary. How far is heaven? change my ways of living. How far is heaven? Lord, can you tell me? I've been locked up way too long in this crazy world. How far is heaven? I just keep on praying, Lord, just keep on living. How far is heaven? Lord, can you tell me? How far is heaven? Need to know how far it is. How far is heaven? Oh, Lord, can you tell me? Pues desde lejos llegó, échame tu bendición. 'Cause I know there's a better place in this place I'm living. How far is heaven? I just got to have some faith and just keep on living. How far is heaven? Lord, can you tell me? How far is heaven? I just gotta know how far it is. How far is heaven? Oh, Lord, can you tell me? How far is heaven? Gotta know how far. I just wanna know how far. How far is heaven?
Woohoo! That's bright matter. Yeah, bright matter. Woohoo! All right. Good morning. Good to see your faces. Good morning to you joining us on the live stream. And Oswaldo, can I ask you to just make me move this a little bit so I have a little room? If you're wondering about the boot, you weren't here last week. You'll have to watch the talk that I did last week. It's archived because it was all about that. But it's good. I'm fine. I'm healing and learning a lot of lessons, right? Yeah. All right. So last week also I mentioned this idea that whatever problem we have, whether that's a personal problem or, in our world, a collective problem, that ultimately it's the same answer. And that answer is ultimately to remember who we truly are and to remember who everyone else is. What is that? Mother Teresa said something about if we have no peace, it's because we've forgotten that we belong to each other. So it's that awareness and then coming from a place of love that gives us the experience of what we might call heaven on earth. Feels like heaven to me. But we forget, right? We forget, we get sucked into this world. The world is asleep and dreaming a dream of separation. It's natural, and then we experience not so much heaven on earth. Sometimes the absolute opposite of that. And it shows up in many different ways, right? Judgment and pain and resentment and division and hatred and dis-ease, lack, limitation, depression, anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. You can fill in the blank. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of Science of Mind, he said this: the soul is homesick. The soul is homesick and cannot recover by any means in this world until it finds complete union with Source. Till it finds complete union with Source. So homesickness can take many different forms, right? And when you think about it, if you think about an issue that you might be having, what's troubling you, and you trace it back to its source, you can see how this works. Because what's really missing in our lives, what we're all really craving is that connection, is that complete union with Source. And when we don't have it, there's an emptiness inside of us. And we try to fill up that emptiness with whatever is, we're always looking outside of ourselves, whatever it is, right? Food, sex, bad relationships, alcohol, social media, bad TV, overworking. Oh, bad TV. A lot of people know that one. Yeah, right? And all of that, and the people who, there's a lot of people who just spend time judging others and just, trying to tear people down. I don't know why. It's sort of like, this thing that's happening in our society. So for a while that distracts us, right? It works for a while, it distracts us. We forget that we have this emptiness in here. But ultimately, it makes it worse. Because what we really, truly want is that complete union with that infinite divine that is within us. And to experience our oneness with each other. To experience oneness. That is a deep soul desire. And with that comes joy. With that comes love. With that comes peace. And the good news is that we don't have to wait until we die to have that complete union with Source, right? That's the fallacy that some versions of Christianity propose. That heaven's a place outside of us, up there somewhere, and that we experience it after we die, only if we've been following all the rules, right? We've been not sinning. Then maybe we have an experience of oneness with God. But of course, we know that heaven's not a place. We got some really powerful satellite, cameras now that are reaching all the way out to the outer edges of the universe. They haven't found heaven yet. Heaven is a state of mind. It's here and now. And we experience it to the degree that we align ourselves with that inner presence, that divine one within us and all around us. When we open to and connect with that infinite love that is within us, and we set our intention to live from that place of love. Again, that feels like heaven. And the opposite is true, right? When we align ourselves with the forces of the world and the temporary outer world of effect, then we experience, and then we get caught up in judgment and resentment and feeling like a victim and hopelessness even. That's the experience of hell sometimes, right? So heaven and hell are a choice that we make. It's really a choice that we make in any moment, which reminds me of A Course in Miracles. There's a lesson in A Course in Miracles, is heaven is a choice I must make. And I have a little section of, I studied A Course in Miracles years and years ago, and it really moved me and shifted a lot of things in my life. And I look at it now, and some of the things really do still resonate with me, and some don't. So, pick and choose, and everybody has an individual experience with that. So this little bit from the exercise, Heaven is a Choice I Must Make, you need to be reminded that you think 1,000 choices are confronting you when there is really only one to make. And even this but seems to be a choice. Do not confuse yourself with all the doubts that myriad decisions would induce. You make but one. And when that one is made, you will perceive there is no choice at all, for truth is true, and nothing else is true. And the affirmation that goes with that is, heaven is a decision I must make. I make it now and will not change my mind because it is the only thing I want. Let's say that together. I'll give you the line by line. I'll give you the first line. You repeat after me. Heaven is a decision I must make. I make it now and will not change my mind. Because it is the only thing I want. Yeah. So heaven is a choice that we make. And we make it by, remembering that the universe is for us. The universe is for us. The universe is set up to support us, just like it's set up to support all of life. And secondly, by taking a conscious breath, let's all take a conscious breath together. And attempting to see whatever situation we got going on in our lives from the highest point of view. Try to see it from the highest point of view. And if we have trouble doing that, and sometimes we all do, that's when we want to sit with a prayer partner or a prayer chaplain or a spiritual coach that can help us to see it from that highest point of view. The next idea is opening to gratitude, right? Opening to gratitude, noticing all the things that a lot of people just miss. It's like some people are just walking around with, blinders on, and they just don't see all the magnificence that is all around. They can't see the blessings in their lives. But the more we stay alert, the more we pay attention, the more we notice, the more the things come into our life to be grateful for. Gratitude. The next idea is to connect with our heart and try to see the other person from the highest point of view, particularly one who we feel has maybe done us wrong. And again, that's not easy. So sometimes connecting with a prayer partner, connecting with somebody who can help us to see that other person as a divine being. The next idea is related to that, and is forgiving people their mistakes. Forgiving their mistakes. And then finally, forgiving ourselves for not knowing, for not remembering, for forgetting. Forgiving ourselves for forgetting, because we will. We will. We're on this journey, right? This human divine journey. And it's a pathway that has a lot of winding roads, and that's why we come together, right? To keep reminding ourselves, as I was talking about last week, to support each other in remembering. So these are the tools, right? These are some tools, and tools that, I talk about all the time. These are the tools we have at our disposal. So again, we come together to support each other in remembering and using them and learning how to use them more effectively. And celebrating every time we do. Celebrating every time that we have been able to create the experience of heaven on earth in the midst of a challenge. We celebrate even the little things. It's like, oh yeah, look at that. I saw it from a different perspective, and the whole idea of it changed for me, and I was at peace. You ever have that experience? Yeah. So, that's why we come together. And that's how we unify with that divine source within us and create this experience of heaven on earth for ourselves. But what about everybody else? What about the world? What about people who are suffering? People who don't know, that there is anything other than this physical realm. People who can't see beyond the physical eyes or know how to connect with that love. What about people who are in a war-torn country? They're caught up in that. What about people who grow up in generational poverty or disease, or their minds are polluted with, dark conspiracy theories? That's a thing now. What about people who are psychologically or spiritually wounded? What about the planet and the obvious results that are happening all over the world as a result of climate change? What about that? Is there anything that we can do other than donating to organizations that are on the ground helping, or being of service in some way, whatever way that is? Is there anything else that we as a spiritual community can do? Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Because indeed there is. There is, indeed. And that's why we have events like World Day of Prayer and things like that. So for those of you who were with us on Thursday, whether some of you were here holding vigil, either here in the sanctuary or at home, or with us during the event, you experience that power of collective prayer in uplifting the collective consciousness, uplifting the heavy vibration, on this earth, so that it's easier for people to awaken. It's easier for people to open to and experience that love within them. It's easier for them to see that maybe there's a different way of looking at this. It just makes it easier. So we came together and we had a different, we were observing different traditions. We were offering these prayers from different traditions, and the effect of that kind of combined effort sort of touched every part of our human divine beingness. It was really kind of cool. And of course, we were not the only ones doing this. This is a unity event, and all the unity said, well, I don't know if all, but many of the unity centers all over the world, I know thousands and thousands of people come together at the same time, that second Thursday in September, and at the same time, the same day, and offer prayers. So that energy, that collective energy of prayers is powerful. And so, and everybody does it different, right? We all have different flavors of this. And so what we did is we met on the back deck, and when UCP folks get together, there's a chatting, and we got to catch up, and some people we hadn't seen in a while had come, and we were talking. And then suddenly somebody spotted out in the sacred spaces 3 deer. And you know how deer, they're so still. They look at you, they're still, they're quiet. And it just kind of drew us in. It drew us into the stillness and the quiet. And Mark Malachi picked up his flute, his Native American flute, and started playing. And it was just this magical, beautiful, sacred energy. And then we led this procession all through the sacred spaces, pausing at each of the representations of the divine and receiving inspiration and talking about them. So Joanne led the one to Green Tara, which is that first statue out there, and shared with us about Tara, the goddess of compassion, dissolver of blockages, and then she led us in a beautiful chant of Tara. And then we went over to the Jesus statue, and Karen shared with us this Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer. The Aramaic is the language that Jesus actually spoke. So this Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer, it was so beautiful. And the first line, excuse me, is in Aramaic, abun dbashemaya. Abun dbashemaya. Let's try to say that together. This abun. 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 And the second word is dmwashemaya. Dmwashemaya. It's such a beautiful sound. And so what that means, abun, is the beloved source. It is the infinite universal one. Dwashemaya kind of relates to the light that is within everything, that omnipresent light within everything. So it's this beloved divine source that is the light within everything. That's a little different feeling than our Father who art in heaven, isn't it? It's the whole thing. And you know we ought to do one Sunday. And Karen, I'll ask you to help me. One Sunday, we ought to just do the whole thing all the way through and the translations. Would you guys be interested in that? It's really quite different and beautiful and powerful, and just the sound of it sounds it's really sacred. Okay, we'll do that. And so then we went off to the statue of Buddha. And Lorraine did a beautiful shared Thich Nhat Hanh passage, and then we did this Om Mani Padme Om, and then we came back into the sanctuary and sat around a circle, and by then the energy, the power, I got to feel it in my hands. That energy that vibration was really powerful. We sat together and we took the bowl that all the prayer requests that you guys have been offering the past week, that we sent all that energy to that bowl of those prayer requests. So be on the lookout for some shifting in those situations, because it was really something. And then we sent it out, to the world. So, from an outside observer, they may say, well, isn't that quaint? Isn't that lovely? They're coming together, and I'm sure it makes them feel better, but, what else, right? I beg to differ. Because really, everything is energy. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Right? And everything, down to the subatomic particle, everything is energy. And that energy, those subatomic particles are in everything. Everything is energy, right? And everything is created out of consciousness. And we're all connected on a deep level. That's the collective consciousness. So every heartfelt prayer you utter, every time you send love and light out to someone or to the world, every time you can see something, a situation from a higher point of view, that shifts the collective consciousness. It raises the energy that makes it easier, right, for others to feel that peace. Oh, I don't know, I'm feeling some peace right now. Somebody must be praying for me. I'm feeling love. Just, it's amazing how the effects of this, that we don't always know, and we don't have to know. We just take care of doing this and then let it show up, right? So when we do this on a regular basis, and we combine this with whatever activity in the world that we're led to do, whatever we feel guided by our inner guidance to do, it's not either or, it's both and. We do this together. We are creating an experience of heaven on earth for ourselves and for the world. That's what we're participating in here. That's what we're participating in here. Let's just take a deep breath and breathe that in. Breathe in that awareness that we are here for the purpose of awakening to oneness and sending this love and light out, being of service in whatever way we feel led, and helping others to awaken. awakening the divine light in all. That's it. Namaste.
We'll have a little heaven on earth right here as you get to hear Kara sing a lovely song.
I see trees of green, bright roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, ooh, what a wonderful world. Oh, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
so beautiful, so heartfelt. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. So you know that we have a little special thing today because you know that we are in this stewardship season. We're doing something called a stewardship season, which is to bring to our awareness the importance of the value of Unity Center of Peace in our lives and how we want to come together and support it. So I would like to invite, am I inviting up Brad to share with us a little bit about, what's that? Should I use one of those? Can he use that one? Yeah. Share with us a little bit about his experience with that.
Especially after that, what a performance. So, can you hear me okay? All right. Victoria asked me to say a few words about tithing this morning. And I can honestly say 8 years ago, I didn't know the meaning of the word tithing. And I don't mean that as an expression. I actually didn't know the definition of the word. I got a pretty good vocabulary, but I didn't know the word. So, and as a kid growing up, Roman Catholic, and we'd go to church. My dad or my mom, they'd throw a few dollars in the plate. Didn't really think much of it, kind of just as a boy, I wondered, I would have thought Jesus had plenty of money or didn't even need money. So I didn't really think too much about it. And then, so about 8 years ago, when we moved to North Carolina, Maria and I were looking for a community, and I think an invisible hand sort of guided us in here somehow. And we took the Keys to the Kingdom class and learned about tithing. And it was, I guess the main message that I wanted to say today is that when you take that course, Keys to the Kingdom, and you learn about tithing and the law of circulation, it is a thing. It is a real thing. It's not just an expression. The law of circulation is real. And we've seen it over these last 8 years play out in so many ways for our family. And so it's just been a wonderful thing. And the other thing I would say, too, that I'm uniquely positioned to comment on, so I served on the board ever so briefly, but I've had the opportunity to support Maria as she's been serving on the board for a few years. And so I have kind of an insider's view of how things go. And I've had a chance to facilitate with the board the odd time as well. The care and the duty and the passion and the vision that goes through, I'm trying to remember what we say when you bring up the collection, pressed down, multiplied, running over, all those things that, that is all true because of how hard this board works on making sure that they make everything work so well. And this community, this is the first chance we've had as a family to really be part of building a community, not just being part of a community, but building a community. So it's felt wonderful. And I hope and so a thank you to everybody who's been part of that community and for new folks just helping explain why that's part of why this is such a special community and the role each of you play. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Maria. Same thing happened to me 3 years ago. I got in Chapel Hill. The first thing that I did, I didn't look for pharmacies or supermarkets. I said, where is Unity? So I asked the powerful guy called Google, take me to Unity. I came to Unity and I said, okay, this is going to be my home. And it is. I'm here since 2018. Wow, it's going to be 4 years. 4 years of being in this community and being part. I'm part of the board that Brad says is working so hard to keep this community. It's not hard because it's full of love. We are growing. We are creating this container for more people like you. We want you in our family. We want you in our community. Why? Because this is communities for being one with everyone. Bigs, smalls, and everybody else is welcome here as I am. I really appreciate that moment and Reverend Rosemary and Reverend Victoria told me, you are welcome. And I said, my family is coming from Ecuador next month, and I couldn't believe the support. I am very, very grateful. This church just helped me out with everything, every single thing. So to put my apartment, able to bring my family, it was amazing because everybody support that. And that's the kind of love that we experience here. It's not only some words saying every Sunday you'll be here and asking for your cooperation. No, it's a real love, it's love into action. And from there, as Brad said, the power of circulation, yes, I am aware of that now. And it's not, it's not only the things that I can think I can do, it's the things that I do that really matter. And from there, I invite you to support our community, not just giving us money. It's part of this, yes, nothing wrong with that, but also being part, growing with us, because the only thing that you're going to find here is love, and people that is working from love. From there, I invite you to support our community. There are different ways. You can Venmo, you can write a check as I do. And let's go out. Once you have this in your hand, if you are a constant sustainer, you can have the green card. I always do this joke that it was very hard for me to have a green card. I had to marry a citizen. My wife is saying this. You always do that joke. Yes, my dear, I always do this joke. So we're gonna do the blessing of the gifts. Please hold this tight to your heart and repeat with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is.
Happy and joyful I am. Happy and joyful I am. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much love is in store. Happy and joyful I am. Happy and joyful I am. Happy and joyful I am. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good is in store. Happy and joyful I am. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much grace can still. Happy and joyful I
Joy. It is joyful to be able to give, to share, to support what we believe in, why we're here. And it is a loving energy that is here right now. And we just bless these gifts, its tithes, the offerings, and they know that they go forth to support this community and into our larger community to bless community organizations. And we know that it returns to the giver, pressed down, multiplied, and yes, running over. And so it is. Thank you. And here is our prayer box. So if you would like to have your prayer request prayed over during the Sunday service, and also the prayer team, prayers for these for 30 days, then it's going out into the foyer, and there's a little holder that has prayer requests in it. You can fill it out and put it in the box, and you will be covered with that amazing energy, I'm telling you. Okay, so I see a couple of new faces. If you are visiting us for the first time today, if you would just raise your hand, and Mary will come by with a packet of information that has a blue card, kind of a purpley card on the outside. If you will fill it out on both sides and return it to Mary, we want to give you a little packet of, a little pamphlet that has some stuff about. And we have one more right here. Mary, there is one more. She's there tentatively raising her hand. We see you. So after the service, we usually have wonderful refreshments that our beautiful angel Tana prepares for us outdoors. And that's a good time to get to know you, for you to get to know us, and to have some fellowship there. All right, so thank you. And also, if you are joining us for the first time today on the live stream, please say hello, introduce yourself, and Mel will share with you as much as you want to know about our community. Thank you for being here. All right, one more time. It is Bright Matter. Woo.
They say everything can be replaced. They say every distance is not near. So I remember every face of every man who put me here. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. They say every man must need protection. They say that every man must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above this wall. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. Now yonder stands a man in this lonely crowd, a man who swears he's not to blame. All day long I hear him crying out 'cause he was brave. Oh, I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. Come on, I want to hear you sing with me. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now, I shall be released. Any day now, I shall be released.
This just in, the announcements. There you go. All right. So, there's a litany of announcements here, and we'll get right to them. Number one, there is a full moon fire ceremony with Reverend Chris Geith tonight at 7 o'clock from 7 to 8:30. Join us to welcome the abundance of the harvest full moon and the unity power of order with a fire ceremony and meditation in the UCP Labyrinth, which is out there. We'll take time to appreciate nature, its beauty, balance, and perfect timing. By meditating with fire, we'll activate our soft fascination, attention to restore our busy minds. It will be led by Chris Geith, Reverend Chris Geith, Minister of Outdoor Sacred Spaces at UCP, and a Karapula Mindful Outdoor Guide. Meet on the front porch at 7 o'clock. You can go to unitychapelhill.org for more details. 2, A Course in Miracles, a book study tonight from 5 to 6:30 at the UCP Sanctuary, so you could come to that and then go to the fire ceremony. ACIM book study is back in person. This book study group welcomes both beginners and experienced ACIM students alike. Again, you can go to unitychapelhill.org for more information. September is stewardship season. So September 1st marks the first day of our annual stewardship season. You should have received by mail a letter invitation to either begin, continue, or increase your financial support of our beloved community. In that packet, you will also receive an intentional giving card. After reading the letter, we ask you to sit with the card in meditation or heart-centered contemplation and listen for the guidance of Spirit before completing the card. Then, on Sunday, September 25th, we invite you to bring this card to UCP to use in a special sacred stewardship ceremonies that honors and blesses your financial gift. Whatever that may be, no amount is too small, and it's on behalf of the Board of Trustees. We appreciate your continued support of the UCP spiritual community. And that would be in 2 weeks from today. Okay. Community potluck and volunteer fair. After the sacred stewardship ceremony on the 25th, and as a finale to the stewardship season, we will celebrate with community potluck and volunteer fair starting at 12:30. It's a potluck. If you'd like to bring a dish, just use the sign-up sheet on the back table, back there, and sign up to bring a dish. And if you've ever wondered how you might get more involved in your spiritual community, stay for the volunteer fair during and after the potluck. There'll be a table for each volunteer ministry team with descriptions of areas where you can share of your time and talent. From simple occasional tasks to a more involved leadership role, each volunteer role is equally important and needed to create the spiritual community we love and are inspired by. Social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our Unity Center of Peace YouTube channel. And if you like UCP, please consider giving us a review, that would be very helpful, on our Google Business or Yelp page. Sign up to receive our weekly news, and sign-up sheet is on the back table also. 3-Minute Miracle. Every Sunday after the service, we have a 3-Minute Miracle back in the back room. I'm not sure Joanne is doing it today. So if you have something going on in your life that you would like to have help from, a higher note, a divine perspective, you can meet in the back room, and we'll start that after the service. You have an opportunity to sit with a trained prayer partner and meet in the ministry office. Live streamers, you can send an email to prayer@Unity Chapel Hill and include your phone number, and our prayer partner will call you back this morning. Check the inside of your program for exciting ongoing UCP events that may not have been mentioned here today. And after the service, on the back deck, we have our potluck and not our potluck, but our food and social hour, and Michael Savino is going to do massage therapy out there. He asked for a little donation, and he will rub you the right way. And then finally, does Alt need a ride home from the Sacred Cafe today? Alt needs a ride home, so if anyone is available to give Alt a ride, that would be wonderful.
I will.
And there you have it. That completes the announcements for today. We have children. Let's bring them in. I am the radiant light of God. I am. I am the radiant light of God. I am. The health of God, the strength of God, I tell the energy gift of God. I am the radiant light of God. I am.
Welcome, Sister Blanche. You have Mike Newton here.
I want to take this off. So, today we went over our 5 principles. We read that book. Today was going to be about prayer, but we're going to extend that over till next week and talk about prayer and prayer flags. And we have a new child with us today, Ava's son, here. And let me tell you, she knows unity principles. I asked her about prayer. I said, do you pray to a God up there? And she said, no. I said, will you pray? She pointed this here. She's very quiet. And she pointed right to her chest. I'm like, yes. So that was our day today. We read a book and let her color and just be comfortable being in the area. But that's important too, you know, and getting to know everybody. So that's what we did today. And this little young man here, Eden was with us today. And he likes blacks and you know, walking around and stuff. So we had a great day today.
So please, wait. We're gonna bless our children, please. You know, the unity blessings. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are, and we hold the Christ in you. And so it is. Thank you, Blanche. Thank you, Michael. Wonderful opportunity. So let's get together with a prayer of protection so we can have a protected week. Please stand up if it is possible for you. We go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.